Will Dr. Frances Arnold please come to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Frances H. Arnold, Linus Pauling Professor of Chemical Engineering, Bioengineering, and Biochemistry at the California Institute of Technology. Frances Arnold is a biochemical engineer and pioneer in synthetic biology. She has developed directed evolution, where proteins, through successive rounds of mutation, evolve to carry out new chemical functions. For example, hemoglobin has been repurposed to catalyze important reactions used in making pharmaceuticals, and a cytochrome protein now makes carbon-silicon bonds that are not made in biology. She also has evolved cellulolytic enzymes to convert biomass to fuels. Thus, new enzymes are evolved that catalyze completely new reactions with high selectivity and efficiency. Dr. Arnold is the most recent recipient of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her work with the directed evolution of enzymes.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Will Dr. Orly Ashenfelter please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Orly Ashenfelter, Joseph Douglas Green, 1895 Professor of Economics at Princeton University. Orly Ashenfelter is the leading labor economist of his generation, and for many epitomizes the scientific empirical approach in economics. He has also made major contributions to the study of law and economics and single-handedly invented the field of wine economics. He has been a long-term proponent of the use of randomized controlled trials as a means of evaluating policy and programs in economics. He invented, or at least named, the difference in differences method, largely coined to make econometrics intelligible to government officials and perhaps other ordinary people. He was the first to propose natural experiments as a way of learning in economics. He discovered Ashenfelter dips, that people who enroll in training programs are often those who have had a dip in earnings prior to their enrollment. This finding is key to a subsequent literature on endogenous selection into experiments and evaluation programs, and he was one of the first to investigate how such selection can be dealt with in evaluating training programs.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Congratulations. No, don't go away. Don't go away. Don't go away. We get to get a pretty picture here.
Okay.
Thank you. Will Dr. Hopi E. Hoekstra please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Hopi E. Hoekstra, the Alexander Agassiz Professor of Zoology in the Departments of Organismic and Evolutionary Biology and Molecular and Cellular Biology, and Curator of Mammals at the Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard University, and an investigator for the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. Hopi Hoekstra is an exceptionally creative and influential scientist who shows how genes and phenotypes evolve to produce adapted organisms. She's a modern scientific naturalist with the ability to integrate field observations with field and lab experiments, adapting the best available genetic tools to show how adaptations evolve. Building on her early work on the evolution of pelage coloration for environmental background matching invertebrates, she's extended her comparative approach to investigate highly complex natural behaviors. She's developed strong arguments that evolution builds through incremental changes within even single genes, like the color-controlling gene agouti, which evolves through a series of 9 separate mutational steps. Did I get that one right? Her work is widely recognized for its imaginative use of sophisticated methodology in the field and the lab.
By the authority in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay. Will Dr. Jessica Tuckman Matthews please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Jessica Tuckman Matthews, Distinguished Fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, an organization where she served as president for 18 years. Her career includes posts in the executive and legislative branches of government, in management and research in the nonprofit arena, and in journalism. She has served as director of the Office of Global Issues of the National Security Council, where she covered nuclear proliferation, conventional arms sales policy, chemical and biological warfare, and human rights. In 1993, she entered government as deputy to the Undersecretary of State for Global Affairs. She was founding vice president and director of research of the World Resources Institute, an internationally known center for policy research on environmental and natural resource management issues. She's been a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations and served as director of the Council's Washington program. While there, she published her seminal 1997 Foreign Affairs article, Power Shift, chosen by the editors as one of the most influential in the journal's 75 years.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Will Ms. Sarah Miller McCune please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Does she need a hand? Madam President, I have the honor to present Sarah Miller McCune, founder and executive chair at Sage Publishing. Together with her late husband, George McCune, Sarah Miller McCune created one of the largest publishing companies in the world, building on an initial focus on the social sciences in the United States with a single journal, Urban Affairs Quarterly. She has created an immensely influential publishing house whose portfolio includes electronic media and content that has been extended to medical science, engineering, and education through its many international and subsidiary holdings. McCune is an active participant and supporter of the arts and of academic and university initiatives, including through membership on the boards of the Center for Advanced Study in Behavioral Sciences and the American Academy of Political Social Science, and founding of the Miller McCune Center for Research, Media, and Public Policy.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Will Dr. Richard L. Taylor please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Richard L. Taylor, Professor of Mathematics at Stanford University. Richard Taylor is responsible for many recent breakthroughs in mathematics, including his celebrated collaboration with Andrew Wiles on the resolution of Fermat's last theorem, and his collaboration with Michael Harris culminating in the resolution of the local Langlands conjecture for GL of n. His brilliant proof of the Sato-Tate conjecture and the techniques that he developed with his collaborators go well beyond establishing this basic conjecture that has been around for 40 years. They extend in a striking way our ability to make use of much of the powerful representation theoretic machinery developed in the context of the Langlands program for arithmetic purposes. Even though the past half-century has been a golden age for number theory, Taylor's work can be seen as the start of yet a grander era.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Will Dr. Robin A. Weiss please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Robin A. Weiss, Professor Emeritus of Viral Oncology at University College London. Robin Weiss has made paradigmatic contributions to our knowledge of retroviruses, including the human immunodeficiency virus. His early work demonstrated the existence of endogenous retroviral genomes that are transmitted through the germline as Mendelian traits and can be activated by mutagenic agents. Weiss discovered recombination between endogenous and exogenous retroviruses and demonstrated the existence of heterozygote retroviral particles, correctly predicting the diploid structure of the retroviral genome. Taking up the challenge of HIV, he made a critical contribution to our understanding of AIDS by identifying the CD4 lymphocyte marker as the high affinity receptor used for viral cell entry. More recently, he has investigated porcine retroviruses important for the emerging possibility of xenotransplantation in human medicine. He's also presented this work in an APS meeting. As an authority on HIV, AIDS, and on vaccines, Weiss is an engaged and highly effective champion for the public understanding of science.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Thank you. Will Justice Rosalie Silberman Abella please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Rosalie Silberman Abella, Justice of the Supreme Court of Canada. Justice Rosalie Abella, born in a displaced persons camp to survivors of Theresienstadt and Buchenwald, and brought to Canada as a young child, has been honored around the world as a leading voice for human rights among judges of the world's high courts. Her 15 years on the Canadian Supreme Court have been distinguished for the clarity and wisdom of her opinions. At an earlier phase of her career, she was the sole commissioner of the 1984 Federal Royal Commission on Equality in Employment, creating the term and concept of employment equity. The theories of equality and discrimination she developed in her report were adopted by the Supreme Court of Canada in its first decision dealing with equality rights under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in 1989. Her work on equal employment opportunity established an analytical framework that courts around the world have adopted.
By the, by the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Will Dr. Sandra M. Faber please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Sandra M. Faber, Professor Emerita at the University of California, Santa Cruz, and Astronomer Emerita at the University of California Observatories. Sandra Faber is an observational astronomer with primary research interest in cosmology and galaxy formation. Some of her major discoveries include the first structural scaling law for galaxies, large-scale flow perturbations in the expansion of the universe, black holes at the center of galaxies, and the role of dark matter in galaxy formation. She was one of 3 astronomers who diagnosed the optical flaw in the Hubble Space Telescope, and she played a major role in its repair. She established the scientific case for the Keck telescopes, and she played a major role which inspired the wave of major ground-based telescope building all over the world. She was principal investigator of the Deimos spectrograph, a large optical multi-object spectrograph for the Keck 2 telescope, which she and colleagues used to conduct the Deep 2 survey of galaxies in the distant universe. This afternoon, Dr. Faber will be presented with the American Philosophical Society's Magellanic Premium Medal for her distinguished work.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations. That's right.
Will Dr. Jeffrey Hamburger please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? Madam President, I have the honor to present Jeffrey Hamburger, Cunu Franca Professor of German Art and Culture at Harvard University. Jeffrey Hamburger is one of the most distinguished historians of medieval art writing today. He has done more than any other historian of the past 2 or 3 generations to bring the German art of the late Middle Ages, especially manuscript illumination and devotional objects, to the attention of the Anglophone world. He's also been a pioneer in bringing the art of medieval women to the attention of art historians in both publications and exhibitions. He's an indefatigable worker who has published widely in many areas of medieval studies. His book, Nuns as Artists: The Visual Culture of a Medieval Convent, was awarded the American Philosophical Society's Jacques Barzun Prize in Cultural History in 1998. The exhibit Krone und Schleier, co-organized by Hamburger, Robert Sockel, and Jan Gerchow, drew serious attention on both sides of the Atlantic to women's monastic art, long dismissed by connoisseurs as mere craft.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Will Dr. Mary Claire King please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President? We have not overlooked you today. Madam President, I have the honor to present Mary Claire King, Professor of Genome Sciences and of Medicine, Medical Genetics at the University of Washington. Mary Claire King's work revolutionized scientific approaches as well as clinical practice in breast cancer. In 1990, then using novel techniques, she defined and identified the location of a single gene, BRCA1, as causing inherited breast cancer. That gene and another gene, BRCA2, were also associated with an increased risk of ovarian cancer. Her collaboration with Israeli and Palestinian colleagues led to the identification of novel deafness genes. She also pioneered genetic techniques to identify familial relationships of deceased individuals. She applied these tests to unite grandmothers with their grandchildren whose parents had been killed during state-sponsored violence in Argentina between 1976 and 1983. This afternoon, she will be presented with the American Philosophical Society's Benjamin Franklin Medal for Distinguished Achievement in Science.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Will Ms. Janet Napolitano please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President. Madam President, I have the honor to present Janet Napolitano, President of the University of California. Few can match Janet Napolitano's multifaceted career in public service. As a U.S. attorney, she helped lead the domestic terrorism investigation into the Oklahoma City bombing. As Arizona's Attorney General, she helped write the law to break up human smuggling rings. As governor of Arizona, she implemented one of the first state homeland security strategies in the nation, opened the first state counterterrorism center, and spearheaded efforts to transform immigration enforcement. During her service as Secretary of the United States Department of Homeland Security under President Barack Obama, she was a pioneer in coordinating federal, state, local, and binational homeland security efforts. She also presided over large-scale disaster relief efforts and readiness exercise to ensure well-crafted and functional emergency plans. And since 2013, she has served as the 20th president of the University of California with its 10 campuses, 5 medical centers, and complex culture. Hers has been a voice of... Right? Yes, I know. Hers has been a voice of reason as she is champion for public higher education and for free expression in the public square.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Will Dr. Rudolph K. Thauer please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President. Madam President, I have the honor to present Rudolph K. Thauer, Director Emeritus of the Max Planck Institute for Terrestrial Microbiology and Professor of Biology Emeritus at Philipps University, Marburg. An expert on the biochemistry of anaerobic microorganisms, Rudolph Thauer was the founding director of the Max Planck Institute for Terrestrial Microbiology in Marburg. His own research focuses on the enzymes and coenzymes involved in the energy metabolism of Clostridia, of sulfate-reducing bacteria and archaea, of methanogenic and methanotropic archaea, and of aerobic methanotropic bacteria. His 1977 paper, energy conservation in chemotropic anaerobic bacteria, outlines the thermodynamic principles of bacterial growth, and has been extremely influential in the field. His studies on the pathways of anaerobic metabolism have profound implications for our attempts to control climate change, since methane is a potent greenhouse gas, and they have also helped us to understand the origins of life.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Will Dr. Eric J. Horvitz please come forward to the President's desk to sign the roll book and then receive a formal welcome from the President. Madam President, I have the honor to present Eric Horvitz, Technical Fellow and Director of Microsoft Research Labs. Eric Horvitz has made extensive, influential contributions to artificial intelligence and human-computer interaction research, and has had major industry impact through deployed artificial intelligence systems. He pioneered the decision theoretic and probabilistic inference paradigms widely used in artificial intelligence. He developed some of the first predictive models for forecasting healthcare outcomes and for prioritizing email, something I need. He designed models of human attention and methods for display of time-critical action for NASA's Mission Control Center, and developed large-scale traffic prediction and routing systems for use in Bing Maps. He designed algorithms for machine learning and decision-making that operate behind the scenes in Windows. His human-computer interaction research on sensing and gesture recognition is now experienced in software applications, mobile computing, and gaming systems. He co-founded Stanford's 100-year study on artificial intelligence and the Partnership on AI, a collaborative effort by industries to address ethical challenges in artificial intelligence.
By the authority and in the name of the American Philosophical Society, held at Philadelphia for promoting useful knowledge, I do admit you a member thereof. Congratulations.
Congratulations.